I am presenting to you Assembly Bill 140, which is actually a reintroduction of AB 336 from the 2023 legislative session. I appreciate those of you that supported it in this committee that time. And this time, we are bringing it back. As we all are aware of our very short legislative process, so hopefully this time we have more time to get it through. I will now kick it to my co-presenter, Erica Castro, who will give a brief history of the bill, and then I will give you guys a short walkthrough, and hopefully we'll wrap up in 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Please proceed, Ms. Castro.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Erica Castro, Erika-Castro. I first want to thank Assemblywoman Gonzalez for bringing AB 140 once again to this body. We are continuously grateful for her commitment to working with our communities to make sure that the state is fair and just for all, and it is my privilege to be here presenting with her today. I am here on behalf of the Nevada Immigrant Coalition, which works to ensure that immigrants, refugees, and new American voices are heard at all levels of government to advocate for humane and fair policies across the state. We believe in working towards a Nevada that welcomes, respects, and protects everyone regardless of their immigration status. Additionally, I am also the organizing director with PLAN, the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada. As a community organizer, I often hear about the benefits of having the privilege to drive and the sense of stability it can bring to those who are not eligible for a standard or real ID license. Before the implementation of DACs, such immigrants in Nevada were unable to obtain driver's licenses and auto insurance, which made driving a risky and potential dangerous situation, not only for the undocumented immigrants, but anybody who's driving on our roads. This makes DACs crucial to our public safety since it ensures all drivers, regardless of their immigration status, are tested and insured while on the road. Driving with DACs allows folks to feel safe and secure. Thousands of Nevadans have been able to obtain their DACs and become trusted, tested, and insured drivers on our roads, allowing many of them to drive safely to school, to their jobs, to drop off their kids at school, and even make doctor's visits and become full members of the state they call home. But it's been over 10 years since this bipartisan law was passed and signed by Governor Sandoval, and we have some changes we'd like to make. So the goals for some of this, for AB 140 is for DACs to have the same renewal process as their standard driver's license. This would mean that the renewal process and fees for DACs would mirror that of our standard Nevada driver's license to ensure equity for all. As it currently stands, DAC holders have to renew their driving privileges more frequently than those who have standard or real ID compliant driver's licenses. 4 years versus 8 years. This means DAC holders are spending more money and time at the DMV compared to those with standard driver's licenses or real IDs. We all know that it's not a quick trip to the DMV, and with limited walk-in options, this means DAC holders might need to take time off work to renew their DACs, especially since DAC holders are not able to renew online. For many, in this economy, taking time off work is not always feasible. By making these updates, we are lessening the cost burden of DAC holders and also reducing congestion at the DMV, given that DAC holders would need to renew less often, creating a positive impact for all Nevadans and the DMV. Lastly, it's important to note, as stated by Senator Mo Dennis in his original presentation of SB 303 in 2013, that there are other Nevadans who can benefit from DACs as well, not just undocumented immigrants. For example, someone who lost their original documentation due to a natural disaster, such as the fires we sometimes see in northern Nevada, or a student who just moved to our state and doesn't have their passport or original birth certificate, but does have a driver's license from another state. Even a military member who only has their U.S. military identification card and is unable to produce the real ID or standard license required proof of identification could obtain a DAC to legally drive on our roads. Now I'll pass it over to Assemblywoman Gonzalez to speak more directly on the provisions of the bill. Thank you for your time and consideration of this bill. We look forward for your support or your discussion if you're not there yet.
I will definitely ditto the comments made by the previous speakers. We're in a time right now where the vast majority of the population, highest approval, we're concerned about unauthorized immigration. We believe this bill will incentivize this act. We also are concerned that people who had that status before were the ones who presented this bill. So we need to understand that this bill comes with a lot of red flags, and thank you so much. I will yield my time.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Committee. My name is Lynn Chapman, and I'm State Vice President of Nevada Families for Freedom. We have people from all around the world coming to our country, and we don't know who they are and what they're up to. We have many good people coming here with no ill intent to our people or our country, but we also have gangs, terrorists, and criminals coming here. We don't know who is who, and that's a problem. Giving driver's licenses to people when when we don't have any way to know who they are is difficult enough. But now you want to give driver's licenses to anyone and everyone and to extend the time in between expiration dates. They would have the same privileges as American citizens. American citizens are told they have to have the real ID by May of this year. And there's a lot of documentation that we as American citizens have to provide to prove who we are. And there's a lot of documentation if you've gone through marriage and divorce and marriage, and there's a lot to do. Do illegals have to provide the same documentation? I doubt it. Extending the time between expiration dates is the wrong action to take. We American citizens who are 65 years of age and older don't have the privilege of an extended time between expiration dates. We only get 4 years at a time. That's called discrimination, I believe. So please vote no on AB 140. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chapman. And I do just want to make it clear that senior citizens would be treated the same regardless of their identification card status under this bill as proposed. Please, whoever would like to go next.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. My name is Teresa DeGraff and Reid. Do I need to spell it again?
I believe we've got it. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm here on behalf of the Nevada Republican Party in opposition to AB 140. Our party platform states that we support legal immigration, assimilation, and that we oppose sanctuary immigration. In opposition, thank you. I'm here on behalf of the Nevada Republican Party in opposition to AB 140. Our party platform states that we support legal immigration, assimilation, and that we oppose sanctuary adjudications. Providing full driver's license with reduced documentation is a form of sanctuary. When Nevada first decided to make it easier for non-citizens to get driver's license compared to citizens, the argument was we couldn't stop non-citizens from driving on the roads illegally. So we needed to issue them some kind of card so that the state could track registration and insurance laws and make our roads safer. That argument is false, and the facts show it to be untrue. Driver's authorization cards are required by law to look exactly like a driver's license, but they don't carry the same penalties. For example, under NRS 485.2326, a licensed citizen driver in Nevada can have their registration and driving privileges suspended if they fail to carry insurance, but the same penalties doesn't apply to driver's authorization cards, which are not defined as licenses in NRS. This law is nothing more than an attempt to further erase differences between driver's authorization cards and driver's licenses and allow non-citizens to continue to enjoy greater driving privileges than Nevada citizens, but with lower requirements. That makes no sense. If we're requiring less documentation from a driver to get a license, then we need to follow up that driver more often. We need to follow up with them more often than we do with those going through the complete process. Please do not continue to prioritize non-citizens over Nevada citizens. Vote no on AB 140. Thank you.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll get my name right this time. Janine Hansen, representing the Independent American Party. Nearly every session since 2013, there have been, since DAC passed, There have been bills to lessen the regulations and to make them more like driver's licenses. Of course, that's always what happens with legislation, isn't it? Originally, they were supposed to be up and down in their orientation rather than side to side like ours are. But that was done away with, as well as many of the other regulations that were required for those who are not American citizens. One of the biggest problems that I have discussed previously with the Secretary of State's office, the previous Secretary of State, was that there is no difference on those driver's authorization cards in the numbering system for driver's licenses than there is for driver's authorization cards. This has created a huge problem in trying to determine for those that register to vote at the Department of Motor Vehicles who is actually a citizen and who is not, because there is no difference in the numbering system for a driver's authorization card and a driver's license. We think there should be certain rights and privileges as being American citizens and being born here. And we think it's important to maintain some of those privileges to make sure that it makes a difference to be an American citizen. And we are concerned with the continual degeneration and making them all together the same, exactly the same. And we need to be able to know who the people are that are here. We appreciate what you're trying to do, but we think we are opposed to this bill. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Ryan. I'm a longtime resident of Nevada and Marine Corps veteran. Please vote no on AB 140, extending the renewal for driver's authorization cards for illegal aliens from 4 to 8 years. This bill is attempting to treat illegal aliens like U.S. citizens. They are not U.S. citizens. Please stop this nonsense. Vote no on AB 140. Thank you.
Before I begin, I want to talk about a very local issue, a local matter, if it's okay. CyrusHojjaty. I'm going to read this form right here. This is a neighborhood watch, subject property 1361 Range Lane. I'm talking on behalf of a friend that lives in the northeast section of Las Vegas, Nevada, 89110. They have the parcel number. There was a violation given. The property has no certificate of occupancy. Original home on property was burned down in the 1990s. The property was abated to remove the remains of the fire in the year 2000. The accessory structure shed was converted without permits or inspection after the owner installed a kitchen and a bathroom and was living in the accessory building. He was in violation and cited with a case number and sent to the district attorney and prosecuted and found guilty in 2004. He was fined and served community service. Cited again the new owners on January 20th, 2005, and the same violation was given in 2007. All of these citations were given due to somebody living in the accessory building without permits, without proper inspections never given, and replacement housing was never replaced on the property. No certificate of occupancy was ever given to accessory dwelling as it was never permitted, inspected, or issued. Code enforcement refuses to do the necessary investigation to remove the current residents from the accessory dwelling that the early residents were cited and removed from the property. So my friend is having this issue. It's ongoing. They claim that the people in charge are not doing their jobs, and we go through the local level. I'm thinking about bringing this through every other issue, but my friend asked me to talk about this, and maybe you guys can really look into this. I can give you the forms if you can. Thank you so much, and I'll ditto the last commentator too.